Maganda ba talagang mag-invest sa life insurance? Yung tipong may insurance ka na, may investment ka pa, at meron ka pa daw tax-free retirement income. Narinig mo na ba yung cash value life insurance, be your own bank, insured retirement plan or IRP, strategy of the rich daw na pwede din daw sa low to middle income, life insurance na pwede mong gamitin habang buhay ka at hindi maapektuhan yung mga government pension plan mo such as OAS and GIS. Sounds really good, right? Pero here's the catch. Lahat to pwede naman maging totoo, pero only if you're the right person for this strategy. Kung hindi tugma sa sitwasyon mo, pwede siyang maging one of the biggest financial mistakes you'll ever make in Canada. Kaya stick with me until the end dahil I'll break it down for you step by step. Paano ba talaga gumagana ang strategy na ito? Ano ba yung mga details na madalas hindi na pag-uusapan at na-i-disclose sa inyo? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sheila. I'm here to make personal finance simple and easy to understand para mas marami pa sa ating mga kababayan ang maging financially educated dito sa Canada. Now, if you already have this plan or iniisip mong kumuha, I need you to watch this entire video para mas malinaw sa'yo kung tama ba itong naging desisyon mo or kung may mas practical pa para sa'yo. And just to be clear lang, I'm not here to bash any companies or any advisors. I'm not gonna name any companies. Ang goal ko talaga is awareness and clarity. Kasi I know that what I'm about to share might surprise a lot of you, but these are the truths and facts na madalas hindi lang talaga fully na ipaliliwanag. And pwede nyo rin gawin yung sarili nyong research. So a little story lang, I actually started my career in a company that sold this product and strategy heavily sa mga Pilipino dito sa Canada. And just like many new advisors, I believe back then na I was really helping families. Kasi syempre, sino ba naman ang ayaw tumulong, di ba? But as I kept learning and gaining more experience, I started to see something really important. Maraming tao ang binibigyan ng mga ganitong plano kahit hindi talaga tugma sa sitwasyon nila. And for me, that was a huge eye-opener. Hindi dahil mali yung produkto, but because I realized how crucial it is to match the right strategy with the right person. It was a huge learning experience for me that made me more determined than ever to raise the standard of financial education sa ating mga Pilipino. And that's exactly why I'm making this video. Not to criticize, but to empower. To give clarity para hindi lang basta tayo tumatanggap ng mga plano dahil magandang pakinggan, but so we can make better informed choices for our families and future here in Canada. Kasi let's be real, insurance might sound boring, pero sobrang importante nito sa ating financial plan. I have personally sat down with so many families paying hundreds, even thousands of dollars every month for policies they don't even fully understand. That's why we're here today to unpack it all. Kasi financial freedom doesn't come from hype. It comes from clarity and from making the right choices for your family. So, quick background muna tayo. Kasi before we break down kung worth it ba talaga itong pag-invest sa life insurance, kailangan mo munang maintindihan ano ba ang mga types of insurance dito sa Canada. Now, we have three major types. First is the term insurance. Ito yung pinaka-affordable, perfect kung bago ka pa lang dito sa Canada or kung gusto mo lang i-cover yung mga malalaki mong utang such as mortgage, mga loan, maybe education ng mga anak mo, for a certain period of time. So, temporary lang siya kaya tinawag na term insurance. Walang investment side, kaya walang lumalaking pera sa loob ng policy. Now, meron naman tayong dalawang permanent coverage such as whole life insurance and the universal life insurance. Yung whole life insurance, ito yung permanent coverage na may guaranteed na cash value na lumalaki kahit maliit lang. Very simple to understand, pero usually mas mahal siya kesa sa universal life. Ito namang universal life, ito yung madalas na nabibigay sa ating mga Pilipino or ito yung madalas na napupuntahan nating mga Pilipino na mga kababayan natin kasi mas flexible siya at mas affordable compared sa whole life. May investment option sa loob, kaya dito pumapasok yung usapan ng insurance as an investment. Pero mas komplikado ito kesa sa whole life insurance. Now, bakit ba gustong-gusto ng mga tao ang whole life at universal life? Simple lang, dahil sa cash value. Para sa maraming Pilipino, ang mindset kasi at least may lumalaking pera kesa wala. At syempre, attractive rin naman talaga yung idea na insurance na hindi lang para sa death. right? Pwede mo pang gamitin habang buhay ka. And to be fair, maganda naman talaga yun. Pero here's what's important to understand. Kung hindi mo alam kung paano siya gumagana long term, pwede kang mapasok sa isang plan na hindi pala bagay sa sitwasyon mo. Now, for the purpose of this video, magfo-focus tayo sa Universal Life Insurance or sa UL kasi ito ang pinaka-common sa community natin at ito rin ang isa sa madalas i-market as insurance with investment. Now, pag-usapan natin, paano mo ba maa-access yung pera mo sa life insurance policy? Kasi oo, sa illustration, may binibigay sa inyong illustration, ang ganda ng projection dyan. So now, let's get to the big question. Paano ba talaga ma-access yung pera dito sa life insurance policy? Kasi oo, pag may binigay sa inyong illustration, ang ganda ng mga numbers doon, ang ganda ng projection. Pero ang dapat mong tanungin is pagdating ba ng panahon na kailangan mo yung pera mo in the future, ganun pa talaga kadali kagaya ng sinasabi ng illustration? So ibe-breakdown natin yan dahil at the end of the day, only one thing matters. That is how you can actually use your money. And we have 3 ways to access money in a life insurance policy or in a universal life insurance policy. So number 1 is through policy withdrawal. And policy withdrawal from a universal life policy are not that simple. First, may tinatawag tayong ACB or adjusted cost basis. Ito yung total na nahulog mo sa policy mo over time. So kung mag-withdraw ka at hindi lalagpas yung i-withdrawing mong amount sa hinulog mo, tax-free mong makukuha yung pera mo. Ang ibig kong sabihin, lahat ng kinontribute mo or lahat ng contributions mo, you can get it tax-free. But any growth of your money, it will all be taxable income. Halimbawa, naghulog ka ng $10,000 sa plan na ito, at lumaki yung pera mo, yung cash value mo ng $20,000. Kung mag-withdraw ka ng $8,000, pwede mo yan makuha tax-free. Kasi remember, $10,000 yung nilagay mo. Pero kung mag-withdraw ka ng $15,000, only the first $10,000 is tax-free kasi yun yung hinulog mo. Yung extra $5,000 will be considered as your taxable income. So dyan pa lang, parang magpapalaki ka ba ng pera dito kung yung growth din naman ng pera mo is magiging taxable income din? Second is, every time you withdraw from your policy at kung hindi mo maibalik yun, ibabawas yun sa death benefit mo. So yung pera inaasahan ng pamilya mo, pwede siyang lumiit. Okay? Imagine, nag-withdraw ka ng $10,000, ang magiging bawas niyan sa coverage mo can be $15,000 o higit pa. Mas malaki pa ang nawala sa'yo kaysa sa nakuha mo. Hindi rin easy process ang policy withdrawal. May mga forms, waiting time, admin fees, at kung bago pa yung policy mo, madalas mataas pa yung tinatawag na surrender charges. So ano ba itong surrender charges? Kapag kumuha ka ng whole life or universal life insurance, kasama lagi ang tinatawag na surrender charges. Para itong penalty o bawas kapag maaga mong withdraw or sinurrender ang policy mo. Bakit? Kasi these plans are designed for long-term commitment. Kaya sa unang ilang taon, kahit consistent ka pa maghulog sa plano mo, buwan-buwan ng monthly premium mo, pag chinek mo yung cash value at sinubukan mong isurrender, kahit partial surrender lang, halos wala ka pang makukuha. Bakit ba ganon? Kasi sa first 5 to 10 years, karamihan ng hulog mo ay napupunta sa insurance cost, admin fees, at sales commission ng kumpanya. Halimbawa, kung $300 a month ang hinuhulog mo sa monthly premium mo, year 1 to 5 halos napupunta sa charges, kaya kung iso-surrender mo on year 3, baka 0 or sobrang liit lang ang makuha mong cash value. Year 7 to 10, unti-unti nang bumababa ang charges, kaya meron ka ng mas more na makukuha kung iso-surrender mo yung policy mo. Now, after 10 years naman, doon pa lang talaga lumalaki yung cash value kasi mas konti na yung kinakaltas sa'yo. Ngayon, may maririnig kang iba na sasabihin, Sheila, hindi totoo yan kasi 3 years pa lang ako sa plan, malaki na yung fund value ko. mas malaki pa nga returns kesa sa TFSA or RRSP. And here's the truth, okay? Fund value is different from cash value. Fund value is the gross amount ng investment mo sa policy. Ibig sabihin, ito yung malaking amount kasi hindi pa nababawas lahat ng fees at charges. Yung cash value naman, ito naman yung tinatawag na net. Ito yung actual na pwede mong makuha sa plan mo. Dito na nabawas yung mga insurance costs, admin fees, surrender charges, at minsan pati lahat ng mga niloan at winidraw mo. Okay? So magkaiba siya kasi maraming nako-confuse dito. Kaya may mga tao na kahit ilang taon na naghulog, pag sinurrender nila sa early years yung policy nila, halos wala pa silang makukuha. That's why kung iniisip mong gamitin ang insurance cash value bilang investment, tandaan, hindi ito pang short term or mid-term. Hindi ito katulad ng TFSA na anytime pwede kang mag-withdraw, 100% penalty, and tax-free. Hindi rin ito tulad ng FHSA or the First Time Home Savings Account na clear-cut ang rules kung pagbili ng bahay ang goal mo. So kung flexibility ang habol mo, our registered accounts such as TFSA and FHSA are still the real winners. Cash value life insurance is really for the long term, not for the short term or the mid-term needs. Kaya kung may mag-o-offer sa'yo ng whole life or universal life at sinasabi na pwede mong gamitin agad-agad yung cash value unless talagang suited ka sa policy na ito where you can put thousands of dollars each month. Kasi para talaga sa kanila itong strategy na ito. Second way to access money from your life insurance policy is through policy loan. Ibig sabihin itong policy loan, mangungutang ka sa insurance company. Kaya nga siya tinawag na loan. Now, when you borrow from your universal life policy, ang pera na binibigay sa'yo ay hindi talaga galing sa investment fund mo. It actually comes from the insurance company at gagamitin nila yung cash value ng policy mo as collateral. At safe sila, yung portion na inutang mo, ililipat nila yun sa GIA or GIC. GIA meaning Guaranteed Interest Account. Tawag din sa kanila GIC sa bangko, ang safe bucket na mababa lang yung tubo, usually 1 to 2%. So habang may loan ka, hindi na kumikita yung pera na niloan mo sa stock market fund na stock na siya sa GIA which is a low yield account. Meanwhile, ikaw nagbabayad ka ng interest on that loan. Usually 4%, 8% per year, depends kung magkano ang interest rate ng insurance company. So isipin mo na lang ito, yung pera mo na nasa GIA earning 1 to 2%, tapos ikaw nagbabayad ka ng mga 6, 8% sa utang. And remember, yung plan mo was projected at what? 4, 5, 6, merong company nagpo-project pa ng 8%. So what do you think is going to happen sa pera mo sa loob? When you loan it, the growth of the money you borrowed slowed down significantly and nagbabayad ka pa ng mas malaking interest kesa sa growth ng pera mo. Yung pera na pinaghirapan mong palaguin for years, ngayon kailangan mo pa siyang utangin pabalik at ang malala, may interest pa siya. So ang tanong ko sa'yo, does that really sound like a winning strategy? Now, some people will argue, Sheila, parang hilok lang yan sa mortgage. Hiniram mo yung equity ng bahay, tapos nagbabayad ka ng interest. But here's the difference. Sa hilok, you're paying interest on money you never actually saved. You are leveraging the bank's money against your house equity. May sense siya kasi hindi mo pa naipon yung cash na yon, pero you can unlock it using your home as collateral. Sa policy loan, iba naman. You are paying interest on money you already saved and the money that came from your monthly premiums. That's your hard-earned cash value na ikaw ang nag-ipon at ikaw din ang nagpalago. And yet, para magamit mo, uutangin mo pa siya with interest. Di ba parang counterintuitive yun? And here's the kicker. Sa bahay, kahit umutang ka ng equity, your property keeps its value and may even appreciate over time. Yung loan mo doesn't affect that growth. Pero sa policy loan, once you borrow the money, the insurer moves that borrowed portion into a low yield bucket doon nga sa GIA na nagbibigay sa'yo ng 1 to 2%, which slows down your potential growth. And at the same time, ikaw ang nagbabayad ng mataas na interest doon sa loan mo. So ano mangyayari pag ganun? Slow down ang growth ng pera mo, tapos lugi ka pa sa interest. Now, if you're still following me, amazing, kasi hindi ka pa nabobore sa topic na ito kasi sobrang complicated talaga ng strategy na ito. If you're liking this content, please like and subscribe and make sure isend mo itong video na ito sa mga kakilala mong may ganitong plano. Now, may mga magsasabi naman dyan, well, mas malaki naman ang tubo sa Universal Life Policy kasi may mga bonuses sa plan like accumulation bonus, performance bonus, investment bonus, at kung ano na pang mga bonuses. Now, it may sound attractive kaya yung iba napapaniwala na these bonuses make this plan better than our registered accounts. But here's the truth. Bonuses help soften the high cost of Universal Life, but they don't magically make it outperform our registered accounts. Most of these bonuses come with higher fees and complexity. Yes, UL bonuses are nice extras, but they don't erase the fact that TFSA, RRSP, or yung FHSA natin, yung mga other registered accounts pa natin, are still more efficient, flexible, predictable, and cost-effective for most families here in Canada. Fees, liquidity, flexibility, and transparency still matters the most. May maririnig ka pa dyan na nagsasabi, malaki kita ko sa UL, minsan nga 20%, minsan 30% pa. And you know what? Pwedeng totoo yan, pero short-term spike lang yan. Usually, makikita mo yan during your annual review. Ayan yung excited ipakita sa'yo kasi ang ganda ng performance mo for that specific year. Pero ito ang reality check. You could get the exact same returns sa TFSA or RRSP kung parehas lang na fund ang pipiliin mo. Kung pinili mo S&P 500 dyan, pwede mo rin yung gawin sa TFSA mo. Minus all the fees and complexity ng insurance strategy. Now, long-term averages sa UL are actually much lower once you factor in insurance costs, admin fees, and charges. At dahil regulated ang insurance industry, compliance departments don't even allow overprojecting, kaya mas safe to underpromise and overdeliver. In fact, may mga companies na dito sa Canada ang na-trouble kasi they kept overprojecting UL illustrations para maganda sa papel, para magandang tignan. Pero in reality, hindi naman talaga kaya ng policy na i-sustain yon over time. Now, technically, pwede mong hindi bayaran agad yung policy loan mo, no? Pwede siyang ibawas dyan sa death benefit ng pamilya mo. Sounds okay, right? Pero here's the danger. Habang lumalaki yung loan plus interest dyan sa policy loan mo, pwedeng malagpasan nito ang cash value ng policy mo. At kapag nangyari yun, pwedeng mag-collapse or mag-terminate ang policy na inaasahan mong proteksyon ng pamilya mo. At kung mag-terminate man ito, double whammy yan. Wala ka nang coverage plus the CRA will treat the entire outstanding loan as taxable income in 1 year. Meaning, isang bagsakan na malaking tax bill yan para sa'yo. So imagine kung lumaki yung utang mo ng $50,000 at mag-collapse yung policy mo, lahat yon will be counted as your taxable income. Now, let's compare this to other accounts such as TFSA na pwede mong withdrawin anytime, tax-free, no interest, no effect sa coverage mo. Simple and guaranteed tax-free. RRSP, you get a tax break when you contribute. Yes, withdrawals are taxable, pero predictable siya at pwede kang magkaroon ng mga strategy to minimize your taxes in the future. FHSA, perfect for the first-time home buyers. Contributions are tax-deductible like RRSP, and withdrawals for your first home are 100% tax-free just like TFSA. So while policy loans start off tax-free kasi loan siya, hindi siya income, they are not risk-free. May interest, risk sa death benefit, it slows down the growth of your policy compared to what it was projected, and may chance din na matax ka bigla if the policy terminates. That's why for most Filipinos here in Canada, TFSA withdrawals are still the true guaranteed tax-free income na wala kang interest na babayaran, hindi mo kailangang utangin yung pera mo, walang hassle, walang risk na biglang maging taxable, at walang penalty. Now, let's go to that last way to access your money in a universal life policy. And this is through collateral loan. Ito yung madalas i-market as tax-free retirement income strategy. And it sounds super good, right? Parang Magic! Gagamitin mo lang yung universal life insurance mo and boom, may retirement income ka na, tax-free. And it may sound guaranteed kasi ayan yung nasa illustration na pinapakita sa iyo. O at age 65, ito makukuha mo every year. Yun yung illustration. Pero here's the thing. There are a lot of underrated risks na hindi palaging na-explain upfront. So let's break this down. Number 1 is collateral loan is not for everyone. Kala ng marami, basta may universal life insurance policy ka, qualified ka agad. That is wrong. Most banks, most financial institutions want policies with chunky or big cash value. And we're talking about hundreds and thousands of cash value before they even entertain you. Kung maliit ang policy mo, hindi ka qualified. Kahit sabihin pa sa'yo na pwede, I'm sorry to tell you, walang institution ang mag-e-entertain sa'yo, especially because it's a universal life policy. Number 2 is interest rate risk. Yes, tax-free siya technically kasi nga loan siya, hindi siya income. Pero loans come with yearly interest kagaya nun sa policy loan. And if rates go up, suddenly, mas mabigat yung magiging bayad mo. So what looked like a smart strategy at 4% interest rate can quickly become a nightmare at 8% interest rate. And with collateral loan, you are now exposed to both market risk, which is your policy fund performance, and meron ka na ring interest rate risk. Yun nga yung loan interest mo from the bank. If the market underperforms while your interest rates climb, then this strategy can quickly become unsustainable. Number 3 is policy lapse risk. Kapag lumaki yung loan plus interest at mas malaki na siya sa cash value, the policy can collapse, especially if hindi siya properly overfunded. And if that happens, just like what I mentioned earlier, the CRA will treat the whole loan as taxable income in 1 year. Imagine retiring then suddenly may massive tax bill ka out of nowhere. It will affect your government pensions such as your OAS. Baka magkaroon ka pa ng clawback at ang mas malala is hindi ka makatanggap ng OAS benefit. Number 5 is the bank has control and not you. Once naka-collateral ang policy mo, hawak na ng bank ang rules. They can change terms, ask for repayment, or even call in the loan if they feel kulang yung value ng policy mo. Sa madaling salita, wala na sa'yo ang full control. Because number 7, lending rules can change. And this is a big one. Just because the strategy works today doesn't mean it will work the same way 10, 20, or 30 years from now. Because lending rules keep changing all the time. Banks can tighten lending rules anytime. So imagine relying on this strategy for retirement, tapos in the future, hindi na pala ito allowed. So yes, in summary, collateral loans can work, pero let's be real, they are designed mostly for the wealthy who can fund big six-figure policies. For the average Canadian, Filipino families here in Canada, mas practical pa rin ang registered accounts such as TFSA, RRSP, FHSA, or ESP because they're a lot simpler, safer, and far more reliable ways to build your wealth. Kasi kung hindi ka qualified dito sa collateral loan, ang babagsakan mo ay policy withdrawal na taxable lahat ng growth ng pera mo or policy loan na kailangan mong utangin yung pera mo na meron pang kasamang interest. And as we've already covered, hindi talaga favorable itong mga strategy na to long term. Now, at the end of the day, insurance is protection first. Yung loan strategy, medyo magandang pakinggan yan sa papel. Medyo cool ka kasi gumagamit ka ng strategy na kakaiba. Pero kung hindi mo fully naiintindihan ang risk at kung magbago ang lending rules in the future, pwede siyang mag-backfire sa'yo ng malala. So those are the 3 ways you can access your money from a universal life insurance policy. And if it feels complicated, that's because it really is. This is not a simple savings account. It's a complex strategy with a lot of moving parts that you need to fully understand before you dive in this strategy. Now, I want to make it clear that these plans are not scams, okay? Legit sila and they can be really powerful tools, pero they are specialized strategies. Meron siyang mga benefits pero meron ding complexities and risk. And if you don't really understand how it plays out in the long run, baka magulat ka sa future na hindi pala ito align sa needs and goals mo. Now, uulitin ko lang para malinaw na this strategy, itong cash value life insurance, IRP, insured retirement plan, strategy for the rich, only works best for people who, number one, already maxed out their contribution room sa mga registered accounts natin, such as TFSA, RRSP, FHSA, and RESP. Number two is they can afford to put thousands of dollars every month into their policy. Number three is they need lifelong coverage for estate taxes, special needs planning, or final expenses, but not for the purpose of investment. And lastly is for our incorporated business owners who can benefit from CDA treatment and estate planning. Now, for most Filipino families, probably 99%, here's the reality. Etong plan na to masyadong mahal. Komplikado, may tax, may fees, may interest, maraming restriction. And lastly, hindi siya flexible kagaya ng mga registered accounts natin. Meanwhile, meron kang simple at solid na tools na ginawa ng CRA to help you keep more money to your pocket. Mas simple, mas safe, at mas flexible, especially kung nagsisimula kang mag-build ng future mo dito sa Canada. So before you say yes sa mga pitch na tax-free retirement income, IRP, cash value life insurance, be your own bank, ask yourself, na max out ko na ba yung mga registered accounts ko? Naiintindihan ko ba itong mga risk, mga fees, mga restrictions, mga babayaran kong interest in the future? O baka nadadala lang ako ng hype? Kasi ito yung kinuha ng kaibigan ko, ito yung kinuha ng katrabaho ko. So kailangan pag-isipan mo yung mabuti. And that's a wrap for today's episode. Sana mas naging malinaw sa'yo kung para ba talaga sa'yo ang ganitong strategy. Remember, financial freedom doesn't come from hype. It comes from clarity and making the right choices for your family. Drop your questions in the comment section below. Gusto kong marinig ang thoughts nyo about this strategy. And if you want a one-to-one policy review, message me directly on Facebook at Sheila-Pinay Finance Coach Canada. Let's check your policy together if this strategy really fits your goals or kung may mas better pa na option for you. This is your chance to finally take control of your finances. Don't let hype or confusion hold you back. Hanggang sa muli at magkita-kita tayo sa susunod na episode ng She Loves Finance.